Right now, in 2026, the entire rulebook for national security is basically being thrown out. The neat, tidy categories we've relied on for decades, they're a thing of the past. We are living in a new reality where the line between a cyber threat and a physical one, well, it's just gone.
And let me be clear, this isn't some far-off prediction. This is happening right now. A cyber attack isn't just about stolen data anymore. It can literally shut down a power grid. A simple software glitch can bring a city's water supply to a grinding halt. This is the challenge we have to get our heads around. The digital and physical worlds are now linked in a way that can be pretty dangerous.
And this new reality, it actually has a name, the Great Convergence. It's this idea, and it's actually pretty simple when you break it down, that the digital world and the physical world are no longer two separate things to protect. They're one and the same. And trying to defend them with old, siloed strategies is just a recipe for disaster.
So we're going to break down what this great convergence actually looks like on the ground. We're going to explore how it's forcing a complete rethink of what national resilience even means.
And to do that, we're going to look at a really fascinating case study, a trade show in Dubai called Intersec. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A trade show, really? But this event has become a huge indicator of this global security shift. It's way less about just selling gear and much more about demonstrating a whole new philosophy of national readiness. So the event's growing by 13% this year. That's a big number, for sure. But what's really interesting here isn't just the growth itself. It's a signal that governments and big organizations are pouring money into a new integrated way of thinking about safety. Okay, so Intersec is built around these 5 core areas you see here. Now, back in the day, you'd think of each of these as its own little world, right? With its own experts, its own tools, its own conferences. But that's the old way of thinking.
Because here's the kicker. The overlap between them, that's not a bug. It's the entire feature. That's the whole point. A cybersecurity failure can instantly become a homeland security crisis. A public health breakdown is going to need a massive fire and rescue response. Risk just flows seamlessly across these areas now, and our defenses have to do the same.
This convergence demands a totally new philosophy. The solution isn't just about reacting faster. It's about shifting our entire mindset to a state of constant readiness.
This really shows the fundamental shift in thinking. We're moving away from the old idea of perimeter defense, building a wall and waiting for something bad to happen. The new mindset is all about coordinated readiness, where we actually anticipate risk before it causes harm. It's the difference between building a fortress and building a society-wide immune system.
So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, let's take advanced surveillance. It's not just about hitting record anymore. It's about building a real early warning system. And some of these new long-range camera systems are a perfect example of this readiness mindset in action.
Check this out. This camera can identify human movement from 30 kilometers away. Let that sink in. 30 kilometers. That's not just a cool tech spec. It is a complete game changer for how you respond to anything. It totally rewrites the timeline.
Because think about what that kind of capability gives you. First, you see threats way sooner. That gives you more time, which means you gain more options, and when you have options, you can act. You're not just reacting to chaos, you are actively managing a situation before it becomes a crisis. But listen, true readiness isn't just about fancy hardware, right? The most important piece of the puzzle is always people. And that brings us to a totally different strategy for building resilience, Dubai Civil Defense's $1 billion readiness project. The goal here is, honestly, it's staggering. To educate 1 billion people around the world on emergency response and fire prevention. The sheer ambition of that tells you everything you need to know about this new strategic thinking. The core idea here is so powerful. A prepared public is a national asset. A population that knows what to do in a crisis puts way less strain on official emergency systems, and it helps the community get back on its feet so much faster. It's about weaving resilience right into the fabric of society itself.
And this really gets us to the heart of the matter, the central idea that ties all this together. In this new world, the network is always more powerful than any single gadget in it. Coordination beats tools, every single time.
This quote just nails it. It doesn't matter if you have the world's best camera or the most advanced alarm system if they don't talk to each other. When a crisis hits, the difference between control and complete chaos often comes down to one thing: shared visibility. And we're seeing the big players in the industry focus on building exactly this.
The goal isn't just a camera that sees something or a lock that secures a door. It's a whole system where surveillance, access control, and alerts all feed into one unified picture that gives leaders real information to make decisions.
Because that's the end game, right? When all your systems are talking to each other, leaders can stop thinking about security just one building at a time. They can start to assess and manage risk across an entire city and put resources where they're needed most.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. This isn't just some abstract theory. We can actually see a real-world blueprint for this converged approach in the UAE's national strategy.
You know, the UAE's ranking as the safest nation in the world didn't happen by accident. It's the direct result of a very deliberate, long-term national strategy. You can see it in frameworks like We the UAE 2031 that puts anticipation and coordination way ahead of just reaction.
Which brings us to the final and most crucial question. If this is the new reality we're all living in, what does it actually mean for leaders, in government, in infrastructure, and in business, right now?
Well, the takeaways are pretty straightforward. For government, those old agency silos have got to come down. You have to coordinate. For leaders in critical infrastructure, it's all about visibility and early detection. And if you're in the private sector, you just can't have a separate plan for cyber and physical security anymore. They have to be one and the same.
And this leaves us with one last thing to think about. In a world where threats flow like water across all the digital and physical boundaries we used to have, is your approach to security still a static wall? Or have you started building a dynamic, intelligent network? Because how you answer that question, well, that's going to define resilience for years to come.